Welcome back to the complete guide to map making with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very welcome. In the first episode we planned out the rough design for our map. In this second show we're going to take the decisions which will help make the final map really stand out, before we've even started. Those being the theme and the LUT. Now, some map makers will argue this is the decision which can be made much later in the process, and they wouldn't be entirely wrong. Especially if they're planning on building a custom theme mix. But for me, it is important to have this decided in advance, as tolerances between textures within themes vary, and you can use this to your map's advantage as you go along, and it can really help to make your final map pop. These can of course be changed later on. Each and every time you load the map into the editor, you can assign it a new theme. And if you feel you've made a really dramatic mistake in your initial selection, there is no harm in switching things up. But depending on how far into your map's development you've progressed, this might result in hours of proof checking. So making a good decision from the off is the best way to get ahead. Before we look at how to pick your perfect theme, the question is, what even is a theme? Well, the theme is a whole bunch of settings which can visually and non-visually affect the map. You can delve deeper into themes by exploring the theme editor within the game, but the majority of players are mostly just interested in how they affect the map's aesthetics. But before we talk about custom themes and mixes, let's get down with vanilla. If you're playing with the base game, you'll have a very limited selection of pre-made themes to choose from. In alphabetical order, these are Boreal, European, Temperate, Tropical, and if you have the Snowfall DLC, Winter. Each has a differing basic aesthetic. Boreal tends to be dark and cold, and your tree selection will be limited to mainly conifers. European has a warmer feel, with a wider range of trees. Buildings which spawn on this theme will have what I describe as a Central European vibe. Temperate is greener and warmer still, without the European style buildings, whilst Tropical is very rich in colour, with a tree selection based around palms and ferns. Finally, winter maps will have a layer of snow over everything, and amongst other things the map settings will require the city builder to provide heating to its residents. Load up one of the vanilla maps from each biome to check the visual details, so you can choose the best one for your personal map build. Even if you're using a custom theme, you'll still have one of these base themes at its core, but much of it will have been customised out, especially the textures, and it's for textures alone that most map makers will choose a theme. Textures are the paint with which the environment is coated. Rather than just a single flat colour, most textures will have patterns or designs to make that feature look or feel more like the actual real feature, such as rocky cliff faces, different types of grasses, patterns of tarmac or paving, or even the foam on the surface to fast moving water. Note that these textures will be the same across the entire map. You can't have one cliff texture on one part of the map and another elsewhere. But creative terraforming can make the same pattern work in different ways in different locations, and you can use other techniques such as prop or decal placement to get a different look where the base texture alone just won't do. Be aware that some textures can have a tiled effect from certain distances and angles, and this is something you'll either have to work around by creating a smaller area with this effect or replacing with a similar texture which works better for you. But how should you choose the perfect theme for your next map? Well, a good start is knowing a few good themes to begin with. Now, I could start by listing a few popular theme names, but I have way too many installed to even begin narrowing these down. You'll probably already have a few custom themes already installed from the requirements for other workshop maps you've previously played. You can add into this a few themes which jump off the page from the Steam search results. You could even watch a few episodes of What's Map and pick out any map themes that catch your eye. If you like playing with mods, I'll recommend Theme Mixer 2. Link is in the description. However, mods do come and go, and it is possible by the time you watch this video there may be a newer option for handling themes in game. Do your own research. Anyway, Go subscribe to it now, then we'll launch our game. You don't absolutely need this mod, but I will be using it to demonstrate the very next step. When you get to the main menu, head into the Content Manager and enable Theme Mixer 2. There's no need to enable any new themes, as these are accessed directly by the game, whether they are enabled or not. Now, let's start a new game and pick a map, which is in some way similar to the map you intend to build. For example, look for one with mountains and rivers, or islands and beaches, whichever is closest to what you have in mind. It doesn't need to be more than the faintest of similarities, just enough so you can see what the theme will do. When your game loads up, fly your camera around until you find a location which will showcase the themes. Don't worry too much, you can always move the camera around again later. Now look for the little Theme Mixer button and give it a click so that the mod window pops open. While this is a mod which will enable us to mix themes together to give us a unique aesthetic, today we'll simply be using it to find the best available single map theme. Click the top option in the window and you'll be greeted with a drop-down box containing all of your subscribed themes. Now, click through each one in turn, checking out the pros and cons of each until you find the one which you like the best. Now, the next time you open up your map in the editor, choose this theme to be your map's base theme. Again, don't worry if you change your mind, I just think it's helpful to have a good idea right from the start. At this point, if you like, you can also choose a custom LUT, but this is far less important as these can be switched in and out without affecting the map save and just be added later as a recommendation. So now you should have your basic map plan along with the theme you wish to create it with. In part 3, we'll actually start working on the map, using the basic editor tools as well as taking a look at the benefits and drawbacks of height maps. That's it for today. To follow the series, make sure you've subscribed and hit the notification bell. BonBon buddies get early access to this show, so if you really can't wait, now's a great time to start supporting the channel by clicking the join button down below or jumping on over to patreon.com/BonBonB. Thanks for watching, I've been BonBonB and you've been very, very welcome.